In part A, we need to work out 3.67 multiplied by 4.2. Now this is a non-calculator paper, and so it's always easier to work with whole numbers than decimals. And so let's see how we can use whole numbers in order to solve this problem. Now 3.67 is equivalent to 367 divided by 100, and 4.2 is equivalent to 42 divided by 10. And so we can say that 3.67 multiplied by 4.2 is equivalent to 367 multiplied by 42, all divided by 100 and divided by 10. Now if we divide by 100 and then divide by 10 again, that's equivalent to dividing by 1000. And so 3.67 multiplied by 4.2 is equivalent to 367 multiplied by 42, all divided by 1000. Now let's work out 367 multiplied by 42. And we're going to use the lattice method, which is a method of multiplication. And it's okay if you've never come across this method before, because we're going to go through it now. You can see that we've split 367 into 3 digits. We have 3, 6, and 7. And we've done the same with 42. Now we need to multiply the numbers together. In this box, we'd have 3 multiplied by 4, which is equal to 12. And so we'll put 1 in the top triangle and 2 in the bottom triangle. Now this box will contain 6 multiplied by 4, which is equal to 24. And so just like before, we'll have 2 in the first triangle and 4 in the bottom triangle. And let's continue. 7 multiplied by 4 is equal to 28. 3 multiplied by 2 is equal to 6. And since the number 6 is a one-digit number, we'll have 0 in the top triangle and 6 in the bottom triangle. 2 times 6 is equal to 12. And finally, 7 multiplied by 2 is equal to 14. Now we're going to add the numbers inside the boxes, but we're going to do this diagonally. We have to start on the right-hand side, and so in this diagonal we have the number 4. Our next set of numbers would be 8 plus 1 plus 2, which is equal to 11. And so just like with column addition, when we have 11, we'll have 1 and carry the 1. And you can see that we've carried the 1 over here. Now the next diagonal would be 2 plus 4 plus 1 plus 6 plus the 1 that we carried from before, which is equal to 14. And so again, we'll write down the number 4 and carry the 1. Now the next diagonal, we have 2 plus the 1 that we carried, which is equal to 5. And finally, we have this last diagonal, which is equal to 1. And so we have the numbers 1, 5, 4, 1, 4. And so using the lattice method, we found out that 367 multiplied by 42 is equal to 15,414. But we're interested in finding out 3.67 multiplied by 4.2. And we said that in order to do this, we need to find 367 multiplied by 42 and divide this number by 1000. And so we need to do 15,414 divided by 1000, which is equal to 15.414. And so we've found out that 3.67 multiplied by 4.2 is equal to 15.414. Now in part B, we need to work out 59.84 divided by 1.6. Now we can use the bus stop method in order to work this out. Now we know that 1.6 is equal to 16 divided by 10. And so we can use the bus stop method in order to find 59.84 divided by 16. First we need to find out how many 16s go into 5, and the answer is 0. Then we need to find out how many 16s go into 59, and the answer is 3. We know that 3 16s go into 59 because 3 multiplied by 16 is equal to 48. Well, now we need to find the remainder between 59 and 48. And so we can do 59 take away 48, which is equal to 11, which we've written above the 8. Now the 11 above the 8 turns this number into 118, and we need to find out how many 16s go into 118. We know that 7 16s go into 118, and don't forget the decimal points. 16 multiplied by 7 is 112, and so the difference between 118 and 112 is equal to 6, which we've written above the 4, and so this number now becomes 64. Now we need to find the number of 16ths which go into 64. And we know that 4 16ths go into 64, because 16 multiplied by 4 is equal to 64. And there's no remainder, and so 59.84 divided by 16 is exactly 3.74. And so let's write this line in a way that looks more like fractions. 3.74 is equivalent to 3.74 divided by 1. And so 59.84 over 16 is equivalent to 3.74 over 1. Now we need to find out 59.84 divided by 1.6. And so we're finding out 59.84 divided by 16 over 10. You can see that on the left-hand side, we've divided the denominator by 10. And so in order to make this equivalent on the right-hand side, we need to multiply the numerator on the right-hand side by 10. And so 59.84 divided by 1.6 is equal to 3.74 multiplied by 10. 3.74 multiplied by 10 is equal to 37.4. And so we've found that 59.84 divided by 1.6 is equal to 37.4. Now this question is worth 6 marks. We get the first mark in part A for saying that 3.67 multiplied by 4.2 is equivalent to 367 multiplied by 42, all divided by 1000. We get the second mark for finding that 367 multiplied by 42 is equal to 15,414. And we get the third mark for correctly finding that 3.67 multiplied by 4.2 is equal to 15.414. We get the fourth mark in part B for a process to find 59.84 divided by 16. We get the fifth mark for finding that 59.84 divided by 16 is equal to 3.74. And we get the sixth and final mark for finding that 59.84 divided by 1.6 is equal to 37.4. Allowing us to get the full 6 marks needed in this question.